Hi guys, I'm Alexmo, and the Pokemon anime has these things called special episodes, and at some series, at the end, we'll get 2 special episodes. And these episodes focus on Ash's traveling companions and what they're doing after they met Ash. And a lot of them have companions meet older companions. There was one where Silent met Brock. There was one where Clement met Silent. But we didn't get these special episodes in Alola. So what if we did? I'll create 4 special episodes today. One for each traveling companion from Alola, except for Lily since she's doing stuff with Moan and her mother and stuff. So I'll be making these 4 special episodes, telling you all about what would happen in them, so I hope you enjoy. So, we'll start off with KIAWE's special episode, and as we know, after the Sun and Moon series ended, KIAWE was training with Olivia, the kahuna of Akala Island. So, this special episode will take place during that training period. Since Olivia thinks it's beneficial to travel the world, she'll occasionally give KIAWE missions to go to other regions to do something there that would end up helping Olivia out. So, for this special episode, her mission for KIAWE is to go to Twist Mountain in the Unova region and find some fossils for Olivia to examine. KIAWE then arrives at Twist Mountain and realizes a big problem. It is very, very cold and he is definitely regretting not wearing a shirt. But him and Marowak are determined to find fossils, and KIAWE takes a shovel, starts digging around. Marowak uses its bone as a shovel, trying to find these fossils, but it's no use, and they're really having a hard time finding anything. This is when they encounter another trainer there, and she is there working to enhance her endurance to the cold because she hates the cold. And KIAWE assumes she might know a bit about the area, so he asks if she could help him find some fossils. And she introduces herself as Iris, and explains that she'll help him find fossils, but only if he defeats her in a Pokemon battle. KIAWE uses his Marowak and Iris uses her Fracture, and the battle starts. Both are ordering moves, and KIAWE goes for an Inferno Overdrive, but it doesn't really phase Fracture that much as it has a resistance to Fire-type moves. They keep attacking, but they're really not doing too much damage to Fracture. This is when Marowak starts to get pretty upset. It wants to win, but its attacks just aren't doing damage, and Fracture's doing damage to it. It feels like all hope is lost. It starts getting very upset. So Iris pauses the battle for a moment and talks to Marowak. Now, Marowak isn't a dragon type, so Iris can't telepathically communicate to it, but she can talk to it with normal words. And she explains that it's okay to get angry sometimes, but Marowak should turn that angriness into power, or else it's just being angry for nothing. And at that moment, KIAWE realizes that Iris taught Marowak a new move. Marowak's eyes start to glow red, and KIAWE realizes exactly what move it is. And both trainers command their Pokemon at the same time to use Outrage. They both go in for the final attack, and who is left standing? Well, it's actually Marowak now that it learned a super effective move. KIAWE asks Iris why she helped Marowak learn a new move if it was what cost her the battle, and Iris explains that she wants to be a trainer that helps Pokemon even if it costs her the battle, because she wants to connect with Pokemon even if they're not dragon types, and KIAWE respects that. And Iris decides that she will help KIAWE look for fossils, as KIAWE did beat her, and they are able to find a cover fossil, which KIAWE brings back to Olivia, and with that, the special episode ends. Next up is going to be Lana's special about her searching for Manaphy with her father, and I do want to say that I got some help with this special from my friend Samurai Trainer Z, so go check out his channel, the link will be in the description. With that out of the way, I will now start explaining this special episode. So, Lana's father heard a rumor about some islands near the Sinnoh region and that there is a Manaphy there. So him and Lana go and search for Manaphy in order to research it. And, well, the rumors were right. It actually doesn't take very long for Lana to find Manaphy. and she goes to talk to it and try to research it a bit, but it attacks her. It uses its water attacks to pop Lana's bubble that she uses for breathing, and she's in danger, but luckily someone's there to save her and orders a water pulse attack. And who is it that saved her? Well, it's none other than Gary Oak. And I know you were all expecting Misty, but I don't like Misty, and Lana already spent time with Misty, so she should get to meet a different traveling companion. Or, well, not a traveling companion in this case, but you know what I mean. Gary explains that he's there on a Project Mew mission to get a fish print of Manaphy, which just so happens to be what Lana's doing, trying to get a fish print of Manaphy. So Gary decides that he'll help Lana out if Lana helps him out and he can get his Project Mew credits. So they decide to head back to look for Manaphy and figure out what's wrong, and Manaphy starts battling them again. So they decide to battle back, and Lana goes to unleash her Z move. And as she's right about to send it, Gary stops her and tells her to wait, and realizes that Manaphy's attacking them because it's trying to protect other Pokemon. And Lana then sees that there's a group of Fion that Manaphy is trying to protect. Lana and Gary then both recall their Pokemon and try and show that they're not threats to Manaphy, which after a bit, it finally accepts, and shows them that the Fion are injured. So Lana helps them out with some potions and berries and whatever she brought, and Manaphy is very thankful to them. So Lana and Gary are both able to get their fish prints of Manaphy. They say goodbye to each other and head off on their own ways. Next up is Mallow, and she's working at her restaurant making sure it can be a place that both people and Pokemon can come and enjoy. And that's when on the TV she sees an advertisement for the Master Dojo on the Isle of Armor in Galar. Someone named Honey is holding a set of trials, and whoever defeats them all can learn the recipe for a special max soup. Mallow is of course very interested and heads to the Isle of Armor to take on these trials. Mallow arrives on the Isle of Armor and starts exploring, trying to find her way to the Master Dojo, and encounters lots of Pokemon, before she starts getting chased by a wild Vespiquen, and that is when she is saved by another trainer and his Pansage. This trainer commands a Bullet Seed attack, which stops the Vespiquen and makes it leave Mallow alone. Mallow thanks the trainer, but they both go their separate ways as Mallow has to get to the Master Dojo. But when she arrives, she's surprised to see that same trainer is there, and he introduces himself as Silent. He explains that he is also a chef and is there to take on the trials, and them and everyone else there goes into the dojo to learn what those trials are. For the first trial, Mallow has to track down a Slowpoke that stole cooking equipment from the kitchen, and she finds the Slowpoke holding a spatula. So she uses her grass attacks knowing it's a water type, but they don't do too much damage since it is a Galarian Slowpoke and then not a water type. So they have to get creative with how they attack, but eventually do defeat the Slowpoke and recover everything it stole. For the second trial, Mallow has to find some max mushrooms for the soup, and remembers how to find mushrooms from her Stoutland back on Akala Island, and is able to find a lot of mushrooms, and brings them back. And it's revealed that only her and Silent were the ones who found mushrooms, as Silent is a mushroom connoisseur, so he had an easy time finding them. Since Mallow and Silent are the only two remaining, they must have a battle to see who will get the recipe for the max soup. Mallow of course uses her Tsarina and Silent his Pansage, and this is essentially the equivalent of a gym battle, but instead of earning a badge, Mallow would earn a recipe to a soup. And Silent is strong, but he's only the first gym leader, so even though Mallow's not super strong, she is able to defeat Silent and get the soup and a friend as well. So with her recipe, she heads back home and plans to make that soup for guests at her restaurant. And who knows, maybe Kukui will come by with Ash's Melmetal to try out that soup. And now it's time for the final special episode. This one is for Sophocles. And of course, we know that him and Moraine are going on a trip to Moss Deep City, so this special will take place then. Sophocles and Moraine explore the Moss Deep Space Center as there is a sort of convention there for scientists, and they explore the different attractions, including a zero-gravity battlefield, where Sophocles decides to battle Moraine, and he's actually able to defeat Moraine. He then decides he wants to challenge another trainer, and finds other trainers there that'll battle him, one of them being the character we know as Clement, and they do both have a battle where Sophocles is completely destroyed by a very strong gym leader. Sophocles is very sad at his loss, but Clement decides to become Sophocles' friend, and they explore the convention there together, where they find a workshop where trainers and teams have to work together to create new inventions, and they both sign up together, and they work together with their Pokemon to create a brand new invention. And this invention happens to be a Rotom tablet. Alright, well, let me explain. So Sophocles knows a lot about Rotom-powered devices because of Ash's Rotom Pokedex, and it's canon in the game's universe that Clement created the Rotom Pokedex, so he in the anime might have experience with Rotom appliances as well. So naturally, both of them would create a new Rotom invention, this being the Rotom tablet, because I'm lazy and couldn't think of anything else. This is essentially an iPad with a Rotom in it, and they did some other stuff with it, I guess. But it's very impressive to the judges, and they win the competition. After that, Sophocles is very happy, so he challenges Clement to another battle, but not a no-gravity battle this time, just a normal battle. And who wins this battle? Well, just like Clement's final battle against Ash, I guess we'll never know. And that was my video about special episodes for the Alola characters. If you enjoyed this video, please tell me in the comments, tell me what you thought of these specials and how you would write them differently. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, you can like and subscribe, all that stuff if you want, and I'll see you in my next video.